Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. I'm setting up the room real quick and then we can get started. Just a reminder, today is NFP. So we're probably not really going to be trading much. Well, I'm not going to be trading at all today, but I will try to give you guys some trade ideas. But just keep in mind that all these trade ideas are going to be at your risk because it is a risky time to trade with, the market moving all erratic with, due to the NFP news this morning. So I will set up this room real quick. Today's April 2nd, and then we will get started. So let me just get this all set up real quick. And then we should be good to go. All right, I got this stuff over here. One second. All right, while this gets started, let's see who's online right now. It looks like it's almost done. Just 1 second. Got that set up right here. I'm going to send out the links real quick and then we can get started. Check out US 30. Damn, US 30 is all over the place, guys. Let me check the zones right here. There was a couple entries this morning if anyone took them for US 30. I think some of you guys did. I'll look over the profits because there was a couple people who did make some pretty good profit this morning. Let me just check real quick because I did save them. Yeah, Mondra over here made about 1,269. He made some profit, a couple bad trades towards the end, but he needed to stop. So he stopped because of NFP. Cheryl over here locked in 3,130. So a lot of you guys have been doing pretty good today. There's only 3 people who posted profits this morning. David made about 340. So not bad. David, Cheryl, and Mondra both were were brave souls and took some trades this morning. So I think that's it for now. Let me just check the link real quick, and I'll send this link out to you guys right now. So, hey, morning, Peter. Morning, Zephyr. Happy Friday, guys. Let me send out this link real quick, and then we can get started. So just another reminder, guys, it is NFP, so I'm not going to be trading myself, but I will try to give you guys some trade ideas, and we'll answer any questions that you guys have this morning. So let me just get this sent out right here. Good there. There. So we got these all sent out right here. That's good. That's good. And lastly, all right, that's good too. So let me just send this to the social media real quick, and then we should be good to go, guys. So got this set up here. Nice. Yeah, I'll get you right now, David. Let me just get the room set up real quick, and we should be good to go. So copy this link, post it on the social media. We got this sent out over here. Yeah, let me get you guys that Zoom link as well. To you guys. Set up. All right. Got that email sent out. Got that posted on the Facebook. Lastly, got another one to be sent on the Instagram real quick. All right, looks like we're good. So let me get this. There we go. All right, last place I'm going to do is send you guys the Zoom link real quick so that you guys can join into this if you guys are in the premium. Then we should be good to go, guys. So let me get this link for you guys real quick. Once David joins, I'm going to make David a co-host so we can help me run the room today. And then we'll see what's good. Oops. All right, we're good with that. There we go. Valentine sent me some profits too. Nice. Valentine made 1,225. Nice. So a lot of you guys made some pretty good profit last night. So I just pulled up, the saved messages over here, just looking at, everyone's messages so far. Looks like everyone did pretty good today so far. Let me just get this here real quick. Yeah, so Valentine just sent me, or Valentine, he sent me his profits this morning. He made 1,225 and 74 cents. Mondra over here made 1,269 and 70 cents. Cheryl over here made 3,130 and 21 cents. And David over here made 340. He had an increase of 67% in 7 days. Nice work, David. All right, cool. So I think everything's all posted up. Let me check the chat real quick. Hey, morning, Kyle. Morning, John. Morning, Sharul. Morning, Ashley. Morning, Joseph. Morning, Steph. And morning, everybody. Happy Friday, everybody. It is NFP today, so market is going to be moving a little crazy. Let me check the news to see what time it's released. Actually, it was already released at 5:30 this morning, so I think the market's fine at this point. Well, I mean, it's going to have a late reaction as well. Obviously, you can see right here, it had this big move right here. This is when NFP was released at 5:30, and then now one of two things can happen. Price can either come back to where it was originally, or it'll continue pushing up. Obviously, just looking at this here, it looks like price is going to correct back down, right? The volatility is going to be pretty slow because the U.S. banks are closed today. I believe it's a U.S. holiday, right? It's Good Friday. So, with that said, there's probably going to be little to no movement in the market. Like, actually, US 30 looks like it's frozen. It's not even moving right now. So I'll keep checking this out. If you guys have any questions, this is the best day for you guys to get questions out, because since the market is going to be really slow today, for the most part, I could answer all your questions. So great work amongst everybody today. Let's see, David made some more profit. Oh, damn. Okay. All right, David, you'll show off. David went from, what did he have this morning? 340. He compounded that up to 821 or 849 equity. So nice work, David. So great job to everyone here in K2 who actually took the risk and traded, during NFP. Everybody did pretty well. So David made about 821. Valentine made 1,225. Mondra made 1,269. And Cheryl made 3,130. So great work amongst everybody this morning. Obviously, I did trade, it's a risky trade, so I'm not going to really take that risk. But I'm still here to help you guys out and answer any questions for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them for you. Otherwise, I'll try to look for some trades. However, US 30 looks like it's pretty much done. I'm not sure if it's moving on your guys' charts, but it's not moving on mine. Let me go and check real quick to see if maybe the other brokers are working right now. So it's US 30. Let's check Awanda. Yeah, Awanda's close too. Let me see if anything else is open right now. TVC. No, these are the bonds. That's closed as well. DJ. Yeah, it looks like US 30 is closed on all brokers. I'm not sure if you guys have it open on anything, but on my end, capital.com is still open, but it's not even moving. It's literally just stuck right there. So I think let's see. Yeah, for the most part, we'll keep following it and see what goes on from here. But it doesn't look like US 30 is moving at all today, so it might be closed. Okay, cool. So Valentine said it's closed on CMC and IG. Okay, so I guess US 30 is pretty much closed all day today for the most part, for all the big brokers. So thanks for confirming that, Valentine. So I guess we're not really going to be looking at US 30 today. If you guys have any other questions, I can look at the Forex pairs here because they are still open. So this would be, this would probably be our best option for today. For things to look at. I know a lot of you guys were talking about gold this morning, so let's check out gold real quick. Yeah, huge spike this morning, right? Kept pushing up. Oh no, actually gold's closed too. So I don't see, I think a lot of the commodities and futures are closed right now. The only thing that's really open is Forex. So if you guys want to look at Forex pairs, I can look at them. But everything
Yo,
else.
I closed EU already.
Oh, did you?
4% gain. So
Nice.
now I'm up to 74%.
Congrats, bro. You were in a buy, right?
Yeah, I bought that EU right at that nice candle projection.
Nice. Yeah. So David's positions right here for EU. He closed them out. He made some nice profit. Total of, I'm assuming, like 850 profit for the day. So he did pretty good today. You did pretty good, bro. And you guys are crazy trading on NFP, man. I don't risk that at all. Were you trading at 5:30 when NFP happened?
No, just right now I did that. I'm
Hmm.
at 15-minute candle right now.
Okay, no, you're good then. Yeah, I thought you
Yeah.
were trading like during NFP, bro, like at 5:30.
Oh no, come on.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, dude, nice work, bro. Yeah, man, I'm kind of jealous. I saw everyone's profits this morning. I was like, dang, yes, Valentine confirmed that. Yeah, Valentine he took like one US 30 trade. I guess this is before the market closed. He made 1,200, and then Mondro over here last night, he was doing a couple trades. So I'm glad everyone locked in some nice profit. Cheryl over here too. She was trading US one, S&P 500, Nasdaq, and US 30. Basically all the US assets. Looks like she was just trading them.
And then starting next week, I'm gonna be solo for the next 2 months.
And you're gonna make some money trading, bro.
So private Zooms.
Definitely. So you're gonna be quarantined, right?
So this weekend I'm driving to South Carolina to see my family for the last time for the next 2 months.
Oh, gotcha.
And then I'll be back up here in Maryland for a week, and then I fly out. I fly out Friday afternoon to Italy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. What a move, bro. What a move across the world.
I know.
Let me get this question real quick. So Charlotte said, hi, Shawn. I realized that Josh's strategy no longer has some of the pivots that was shown on your mentoring session with him. May I know why? Thanks, Shawn. So Charlotte, Josh, he took off. So let me go to the 3 minute over here. So Josh is referring to, Charlotte is referring to Josh's strategy right here. So Josh's original strategy was he had all the pivots on here, right, Charlotte? That's the main thing. The main reason why he took them off was just because they're not strong pivots, right? The thing with the pivot 1 and pivot 2 is that they cross over a lot, and price can cross between, like as you can see right here, price can cross between them, but it still swings back up, right? And then vice versa over here, price crosses between these two over here, but they still go back in the opposite direction. So that's why he took off the other pivots. The main reason is because the level 1 and level 2 aren't very strong pivots. So he took them off because they kind of became irrelevant, right? Because if you were to take, you could have taken these trades too right here. Like for example, if you took this trade right here, I think this might have still would have won anyways. But even if you missed this trade here, actually you would have won, but it would have taken a long time. Like for example, see, you would have won like way down here. And even if you skip this trade, you could have taken this one over here because it did cross all the pivots, and you still would have won the same trade. Or you could have taken this one over here, this green one over here as well, and it still would have won the trade. So the main reason why Josh took off the other pivots was just because the 2 pivots were weak, and he just gave a lot of false entries. And that's why he changed it. That strategy is still not done yet. He's still consistently making changes to it, and I'm working with him to increase the odds of winning. Even though our win rate for that strategy is pretty high already, obviously we want it to be a little bit better. So that's why he took them off. He's the one that's making the changes to the strategy, not me. So, if you have more specific questions, you can ask him. I'm just helping him making the strategy better because it is his strategy, and he's just implemented it with the K2 indicators. So for the most part, that's why he took off these 2 from there, and you just have 2 now. So it makes it a lot easier for you to miss out on some fake outs. Like obviously you do miss out on some good trades. Like for example, right here, let me see if this wins. Oh, so this would have been a loss. So, this is a reason why he would take it off, because this would have been a loss if he took that trade. So that's one of the reasons why he took it off. But I'll put the requirements here for you guys here that are brand new and aren't familiar with Josh's strategy. This is Josh, Josh K2, US 30, 3-minute scalp strategy. So first, you just want to confirm or identify a K2 momentum signal. Second, you want to confirm the 2A, I guess. There's two options here. So confirm the K2 momentum signal crosses K2 pivot 3 and 4, and then lastly 2B. So if 2A doesn't fit, then you can fit 2B, which would be confirm the K2 momentum signal is above or below both pivots. And then lastly, you can enter on the open of the following candle. So that's pretty much it. If you guys are familiar with Josh's strategy, it's a very, very simple strategy. So using this for an example, I'll just go ahead and rewind to here and I'll show you how this works. So grab the rules up there. All right, yeah, so looking at this right here. So if you're looking at this candle over here, basically for Josh's strategy, you want to identify K2 momentum signal. The momentum signals are these vertical lines on the chart. So we have like a line up, line down. If it's a green one, it means to buy. If it's red, it means to sell. So for example, right here, if you see this, this would be a K2 momentum buy signal, right? So with that said, you just want to confirm that either 2A or 2B qualifies for this entry. For 2A, you just want to make sure that it's crossing the pivots, which it's not. So in that case, we just cross out 2A. That's relevant. Now we look at 2B. We just want to confirm that the K2 momentum signal is above or below both pivots. So for example, here it's above the pivots and it's a buy signal, right? So with that situation there, you enter a long position. TP is going to be 25. Stop loss is going to be 50. You know, it's a negative risk to reward. But the reason for that is because this is a high win rate strategy. So we're able to do that because we win more trades than we lose, like more than double, if not triple or quadruple. So for example, if you saw this trade right here and you let it run, and we don't plan on losing. Like the reason we have this stop loss here is just a safety net in case price decides to come down and then it decides to shoot back up, right? So it's just there as a safety net. We don't ever plan on losing. We never plan on entering trades to lose, right? We plan on entering trades to win because we don't like to lose trades here at K2. So for example, here, if you see this come down a little bit, small drawdown, not very much. It only goes into drawdown about maybe 50 pips, which is nothing, right? That's like spread for US 30. So looking at this shoot up from this point, you know, it's a little pullback right there and straight up to full TP right there, right? So that's one example. Another example would be something like this over here. And I'll show you, like, it's really simple. It's like, there's literally no guesswork. You're just doing a checklist for this strategy. So again, right here, same situation, identify the K2 momentum signal. There's a momentum signal right there for a buy. You know, we look for it to cross the pivots. You can see that previously before this candle, it was below, but on that opening candle, it shot above, right? So it crossed the third pivot. And, you know, it's already above all three, or all two actually. So with that said, this requirement would have been met 2A, and then we would just skip 2B because 2A is already met. So with that said, we do the same thing, enter a long position here, you know, 25.50. You end up letting it run right there, and same situation, full TP, right? So you hit a full TP right there, and then you run into another one right here. I'll go back to this last one because there's actually like a lot of entries here that are available. There's like there's one here. So I'll just mark them up for you. So there's one right here. That would have been full TP as well, right? This would have been full TP right here. So if you just drag this over, full TP off that right there, right? So that's one full TP. Again, right here, here's another one. You know, same situation. So same situation right here, another full TP. Again, right here, we have another one right here. Full TP. Another one right here, full TP. So as you guys can see, there's 4 back-to-back full TPs right there. That's why we're able to use a negative risk reward because win rate's so high. Literally, if you just took all these 4 here, you know, your stop loss wouldn't even matter because we never hit stop loss. We hit stop loss every once in a while, you know, no strategy 100%, but for the most part, it generally always hits. So that's why that's the risk reward for the strategy. And this is basically, you know, an explanation of Josh's 3-minute strategy here. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Charlotte. If you're still confused about it, just let me know, and then I can dive deeper into it. But it's pretty self-explanatory. There's not really much to really think about. You just check the checklist. Is there a signal? Yeah. Is the signal cross the pivots? No. Is the signal above or below all pivots? Yes. Then yeah, there's an entry. So John said, "Know that now that we removed pivot 1 and 2, requirement 2A and 2B are now the same requirement." Not necessarily, John, because like I explained this to I think Zephyr last night as well. There's still different strategies. I mean, they're different requirements, right? They're clearly different. For 2A, you confirm that the signal crosses pivot 2 and 3, right? There's nothing about crossing pivots on 2B. On 2B, it means that the signal is already above or below them. So they're two totally different requirements, John. So this is like, I'm not sure how people get confused about this, but these are totally different requirements. So like, for example, here, right? Looking at this red one, see this right here? This opening candle wasn't already below the pivots. So this doesn't qualify for 2B. This qualifies for 2A because it crosses the pivots, right? So 2A fills this right here because it crosses the pivots. That's going to be 2A. 2B is when it's already above or below. So for example here, let me just go forward. Like obviously that's 2A right there because it crosses below, their full TP. And then 2B is going to be, let me just show you one real quick if I can find one here. Okay, so this is a huge difference here, right? So John, this is a difference here. It's crossing pivots, right? That's 2A. Price is already above the pivots there. That's 2B. So this is an example. That's 2A example right there, right? 2B example right here. So as you can see here, 2A and 2B are completely opposite. Like they're not the same requirement. They're totally different. So I mean, it's not a big deal. It's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing whether it's above or below, but 2A is just crossing the pivots and 2B is already above the pivots. So that's the main difference here. I'm not sure like how this gets confusing for people. It's a simple requirement, right? It's just the difference is it's crossing. There's keywords here. Crosses. I mean, you can't see it. Crosses. And then the other one is above or below. Like they're completely different requirements there. So this is what it means. Because this is 2B is considered a trend trade because it's trading in the direction of the trend. When it's crossing, that's a reversal pattern, right? Because it's crossing the pivots. Because if price is trending up and it crosses below, that's a reversal pattern because it's crossing to a downtrend. Vice versa, 2B is already it's a trend trade because you're trading in the direction of the trend. If price is trending up, and that's why Josh calls it a trend trade, right? Because when price is already trending up, for example. So let me just show you, for example, here again. And even though this isn't like a really important requirement to understand, there's a clear difference there. So you guys can't mix and match things because if you start using this for a different strategy and you think it's the same thing, you're going to be completely wrong because you guys don't understand the difference between the two requirements here, right? So for example, here, if you're taking this trade here for a sell, right? You're going against the trend here. This is a counter trend trade. The difference between this trade is that this is with the trend. So for example, if you're trading with the trend, a lot of people tell you not to trade against the trend. The only time you trade against the trend is when price is reversing from it, right? So that's why it's different. But there's clear differences between the two because I tried to explain this to Zephyr yesterday. I don't know if you got it or if other people got it as well, but this is the main difference because this is really key that price ends up crossing and closing below it because this indicates that price is going to be reversing from this uptrend. Price is in an uptrend right here. It crosses below for a reversal. It's not a long reversal, but if it's short-term reversal, enough for us to make profit off this trade right here, right? Because it doesn't move that far. It only moves 40 pips. If you were to take this for a bigger move, like say 50 pips, you would have lost a trade, right? Because it would have swung back up in the direction of the trend. So this would be considered a reversal pattern trade, and this would be considered a trend trade because it's going with the trend, and we anticipate price to continue pushing up from there, right? See? And that's what it would be. So that's the main difference between these two here. Hopefully I answered your question, John. John also mentioned basically it has to close below or above. Yeah, but the main key here is a crossing thing. I think you guys keep like not looking at that, right? That's why it's a requirement, because it crosses the pivots. It's indicating a reversal. You guys, like, just because it closes below doesn't mean it's going to keep pushing below, right? Let me look for a trade like that where it's crossing, but it doesn't like where it doesn't work, because I think this is something that, because the thing is, we're like every week people are creating new strategies, right? So if you guys get confused with something like this is going to be, I mean, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you guys to pick up stuff as we continue to create new strategies. Like, for example, here, this crosses the pivots, but it's the loss, right? So 2A is technically more riskier than 2B, because 2B goes with the trend while 2A doesn't go with the trend. So for example, here, if you were to take this trade right here, this would have been a loss, right? Because we're counter trend trading, right? This price swings down, it reverses. So for example, here it swings up and then it crosses the pivots, it doesn't reach TP, and it ends up hitting stop loss. So the thing is, if you're trying to trade 2B, this is similar to the K2 pivot strategy. If you guys are familiar with how it worked before, it's not really much different. We trade in the direction of the trend. The only difference is that Josh's strategy uses, he only uses 2 pivots. Like, if you guys are familiar with the pivot strategy, I'll show you the pivot strategy right here. We can still use the pivot strategy on the 3-minute. It works perfectly fine, and it's something that I still use even myself. I think, well, Josh's strategy is basically the pivot strategy. It's just, with different parameters. So for example, here, if you guys are familiar with the pivot strategy, this is the K2 pivot strategy. So first, you just want to confirm direction of trend via K2 pivots. 2, confirm a rejection or retracement in price. 3, confirm rejection off K2 pivots area. And then lastly, confirm valid K2 signal. Lastly, enter on the open of the following candle. All right, so check this out right here. So if you look at this over here, I'll just show you an example of the pivot strategy, which is the same thing that Josh is doing. It's just he uses only 2 pivots. So looking at this right here, you confirm the direction of the trend, right? If you turn off the pivots, turn off the candles here, the pivots are all above, they're angling upwards, they're spread out, and the price is above the pivots, right? So this indicates an uptrend. So this is going to be requirement number 1. Requirement number 1 is that we're in an uptrend right here. Requirement number 2 is a retracement in price, right? Price comes up here, rejects off that point, and then retraces down, right? So that's requirement number 2. Requirement number 3 is going to be a rejection around the K2 pivots areas. So for example, here, requirement number 3, there's a rejection off the pivots area over here, right? So with that said, lastly, you just need to confirm a valid K2 signal right here. And there's the pivot strategy. It's the same thing as Josh's, right? It just looks a little different because he has only 2 pivots, but it's the same exact strategy. So if you guys are familiar with the K2 pivot strategy, it's the same thing. It's just done on a different time frame, because we used to do this on the 10-minute, not the 3-minute. But since it works on the 3-minute, you guys can use it. So this is the K2 pivot strategy. Once you have that, you enter there with Josh's 25-50 split. So 25-50 split right there. You let it run, and there you go, full TP, right? It's the same exact strategy. It's just a small variation because we used to apply this on the 10-minute, but Josh now uses this on the 3-minute. All he did was remove the pivots, right? So this isn't something brand new. It's something we've been applying for years now. It's just that Josh made a little change to it where he uses a smaller time frame and he took off a few pivots, but it's the same exact strategy. Yeah, and this is pretty much how it's used. So yeah, that's about it for this here. Let me check the questions to see if there's anything else for me to cover here. But yeah, if you guys are familiar with this strategy has been available to you guys for like 3 years now. There's nothing new that's been introduced. It's just Josh made a small variation to it to apply it on a different time frame. Like if you guys go to the course, I mean, you guys can even, if you guys are not in K2 already, and you guys just sign up to the free intro course, you guys can learn the strategy. You just won't have access to the indicators. So looking at the K2 intro course over here, if you go down to the scalp strategies, the K2 pivot strategy is right here. It's been here for like 2 or 3 years now. It's been here for a very long time. It's just, I think a lot of you guys just skip over it. I mean, all these strategies here work very well. It's just, you guys find one that you like and you guys stick to it. But this strategy has been available to you guys for a long time. So nothing's really changed here. The only difference is that this is done on the 3-minute now. Here, let me just show you guys another example of this on the 10-minute, because it still works. There's nothing really different about it. The only difference is that it's now done on the 3-minute time frame. So for example, let me just see if I could find one here. All right, so there's one like right here, right? So looking at this here, this strategy was meant for the 10-minute, but you guys use it on the 3-minute now. So same thing here, right? Price is trending down from here. We have a retracement from down here. We have a rejection right here. We have a valid sell signal right here. With that said, you enter a short position right here. We'll probably make this a little wider, maybe like 50-50, because it's a higher time frame, 10 minutes. So with that said, you let it run, and it's the same thing, full TP, right? It's the same strategy. So I'm not sure if you guys forgot about this strategy, but this is the same strategy that Josh applies. It's just he uses less requirements, and he does it on the 3-minute versus the 10-minute, which is what I taught you guys to use it on. So if you guys want to learn the strategy, it's open to you guys. You guys can just go on the website, k2trades.com, and you can click unlock your free access here. If you want to learn the strategies, you can, just go here and learn it. If you guys want access to the indicators to actually do this yourself, so you guys don't have to wait on me calling trades, you guys can click on K2 strategy course right here, and you'll get access to the indicators. But hopefully this answers your guys' questions. These strategies are really simple. I made them so simple where it's just a checklist. You confirm direction of the trend. Obviously, price is trending down right here because price is below the pivots. They're angling down and they're spread out. Second, you confirm a retracement. It's right here. Retracement from here, right? Price comes down. It retraces upwards. Third, confirm rejection off K2 pivots area. It rejects right here. And lastly, valid K2 signal right here to, topping on the cake. With that said, you enter the trade, full TP. Not that difficult. So that's another strategy that we use. The other strategy that we use here also is the scalp strategy, right? So if you guys are familiar with the scalp strategy, this is the scalp strategy right here. So if I was to show you guys the where's the 10-minute chart at? Okay, here we go. So looking at this right here, and these are all of the 3 strategies that we use, like the main ones that we use for scalping. Like for example, right here, I'll just show you for you guys real quick. This is the K2 snipe strategy, US 30 10-minute time frame, and this one's even easier, guys. Like I've been making the strategies easier and easier for you guys to profit, and that's how everyone here is killing it, right? So like Valentin over here made 1,200 for US 30. He's applying the strategy that I'm going to explain to you right now. Same with Mondra over here, right? He has a whole bunch of buys here. I'll show you what he did here because this is very, very simple. Same with Cheryl over here. She made 3,130 for US 30 for trades in the opposite direction, because you can trade this in both directions. So this is going to be the snipe strategy. So first, you just want to confirm a wick rejection off K2 pivot, which can be any pivot, to confirm wick rejection off K2 SR zone, and then lastly, confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch candle body. And then after that, enter on the open of the following candle. And that's pretty much it, guys. So if you guys want to see how Mondra and let's see who else is there. We don't even use the momentum signals here, so you guys don't need this. But yeah, looking at this strategy right here, wait, which one did he take here? I think it was the next candle. Yeah, I'm trying to see which one did Mondra take, because I know I saw that he made some profit off that trade there. Okay, so it's this one right here. Okay, so looking at these trades here, so you can see that Valentin over here, he locked in 1,200 for a buy, right? And then same with Mondra over here, he took a couple buys here. So looking at this right here, you just want to confirm a wick rejection off the K2 pivot. So for example, this candle right here, this green candle, there's a wick rejection off the pivot right there, right? You zoom in a little bit, you can see that there is a very clean wick rejection right there, right? Off that green candle. Next, you want to confirm a wick rejection off the K2SR zone. So this right here is the K2SR zone. With that said, those are the two requirements. The last requirement, you just want to make sure that this pivot isn't touching the body, which it isn't, right? So with that said, you enter a long position right here. We used a fixed TP stop loss of 500 pips, which is 50 ticks. And with that said right there, you let it run. And what do you know? Full TP, right? Right there. Boom. Full TP, no drawdown. And that's how Valentine locked in this profit right there for 1,225 for a buy right there, right? Obviously, his price was 3,322, 33,224, right? So he got in somewhere around, well, the pricing is different. So it's going to be hard to match them here for TradingView because the pricing is different from FTMO. And you can tell he's using FTMO because it has a .cash after it. But basically, that's the entry that he took right there. Let's see. Marcus sent me some profits too. Let's see what he did. Nice. See, so Marcus did the same thing. He did some buy scalps right here. Marcus locked in 178. He locked in 136 this morning, 46 as well. So he was scalping this morning as well. So this dude did it pretty nicely. He said, okay, cool. I was doing your 10 on his 1 and 8 time frame. So he's, as you can see, Marcus joined K2 like not that long ago. He joined us like maybe 2 weeks ago, and he created his own strategy with the K2 indicators. He's basically doing the same thing we're doing, but since we do it on the 10, you can see his message here. He's like, I do your 10 on my 1-8. So what he does is instead of using the 10, he goes on the 8-minute, draws his zones, and then he goes on the 1 minute to take even smaller scalps. So as you guys can see, if you guys learn these strategies here, like you can go from like being not profitable at all to being very profitable just by learning the foundation that I teach you guys and creating your own strategy. So nice work, Marcus. I'm not sure if you're here on this live, but you did some pretty good profit today. You made 178. And as you guys can see here, it doesn't matter if you have a big account or a small account. If you could apply these strategies, you can do very well. Like Marcus over here, he has a small account. Obviously, you can tell he has a small account because he's taking small lot sizes, right? 0.01, right? He's taking really, really small lot sizes on his account. I think he's doing a 10K FTMO. So he's only taking small lot sizes here, still making a pretty good amount of money. And then same situation with this over here, like with Valentine, he has a bigger account, right? I think he has a 100K account, so he can make 1,225. Same with Monitor over here, 1,269. And then Cheryl over here, she's actually doing a 200K account, so that's why she makes 3,000. So obviously, you guys can see here that it's pretty much that's pretty much how it's done. And you can see Marcus right there; he's there in the YouTube chat. So nice work, Marcus. You did pretty well this morning. I mean, you did better than me because I didn't trade at all, so I didn't make any profit, but I'm glad you did. So other than that, let me check the chat real quick. Let me scroll up and let me see what else we missed over here real quick. Putty, I see your question for EuroCAD, so I'll take a look at that next. Let's see. Yeah, no problem, Cheryl. I'm glad I could help you with that. Yeah, John. So basically, it has to be above or below. And Ivan said to be above or below means if it's buy, it should be above. If it's sell, it should be below. Or it works regardless of the signal. Yes, it should be a because for 2B, Ivan, I'm gonna go back to Josh's strategy here. For Josh's strategy here for 2B, this is a trend trade. So if you're taking a sell, it has to be below the pivots. If you're taking a buy, it has to be above the pivots. So that's clarification for that. See if there's anything else here real quick. Yeah, Cheryl said the snipe and Josh's strategy are the most simple ones. Exactly. Like anyone can pick up this strategy right here. Like this strategy is literally like I've dumbed it down so much where like anybody can learn it, guys. Like it's just a checklist, right? You confirm a wick rejection off the pivot. There's a wick rejection there. Wick rejection off the K2SR zone. Most of the time it's in the same area. So that's there. And you just want to make sure that the pivot doesn't touch the body. So with that said, clean entry right there. So that's pretty much it for that right there.
Hey, Daniel from Zoom is asking for Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. All right, cool. Thanks, bro. All right, yeah. So I'll take a look at that, Daniel. First, I'm gonna look at Euro CAD for putty real quick, and then I'll take a look at Bitcoin. Thanks for letting me know, David. All right, so we got Euro CAD right here. I'm gonna delete everything off the chart, and I'll show you guys my process here of how I analyze everything. It's not just Forex, but I analyze indices, commodities like gold, oil, Bitcoin, same thing for everything. So basically, first here I have a naked chart. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to identify market structure using the K²SR indicator. So for example, right here, we have the K²SR indicator on the chart. I'm going to pull up my rectangle tool right here. I will draw my zones right there. Another one right there. And when these zones over here overlap, we just make one big zone to cover everything within that area. So I'll go ahead and draw that right there. Draw that right there. Draw that right there. Draw this right here. We got another one right there. And lastly, down here, you can see prices below the current level. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go on the higher time frame and we're going to identify the floor, because you guys always have to have a floor and a ceiling when you guys are analyzing market structure so that you know where price is likely to bounce from. So for example, here price is currently at the floor or it's rejecting off the floor. So we'll go back on the 4 hour. With all that said, we're going to turn off the K²SR indicator, zoom out. And now you can perfectly identify market structure, right? So you can see, for example, here, price broke into the structure right here. So what we can do is we can draw vertical lines. So once you have this drawn up, you can start chopping up the chart. You can chop it up to see where market structure was during a certain time period, right? So for example, right here, price was there, or we could just make this one big area here. And then there's probably a zone above here. So this is market structure right here from January 14 up until January 29. Price broke into this structure, it consolidated for a bit up until it broke, this zone right here. So with that said, this is market structure here from February 2nd up until March 2nd for a whole month. And then right here, price breaks below. And now it's currently within these two zones right here, right? So this is market structure here. You can see price goes from consolidation to bearish to further bearish, and now further bearish as well. So currently right here, this is all that's important. So once you have this all drawn up, you can just ignore everything else and just focus on this small area right here, right? So once you're focused on this area right here, I'll turn on the momentum indicator. And with that done, we can identify where the bias is. So for example, we have a buy signal currently right now. So our bias is going to be a buy. We have a rejection from this point. We got a buy signal right here. And from this point right here, I'm gonna turn this off. And since our most recent signal was a buy, our bias is gonna be for a buy, right? So for example, right here, you see price break the structure, it retests. And at this point right here, there's another rejection. So what do you think is gonna happen from this point? From my perspective, since we're looking for a buy, I could anticipate this to push up from here back to here, right? Because as you can see, price just moves from zone to zone. So price broke the zone right here. As soon as it broke structure right here, if we look at the momentum, we had a sell momentum right here, right? So we had a sell momentum, rejection from this point, breaking close past the structure. With that said, you would enter a short position right here, and then you ride it to the next zone down here, because price goes from this zone to this zone down here. Now that price has reached the zone down here, from this point, we have a rejection, a buy signal, right? So it's a break and retest right here as well. Price broke structure, retest. From this point right here, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to push up. It's the same pattern that happened right here. Price broke structure, it retested, and then it came all the way down, right? Price broke structure right here, retested. It's probably going to shoot back up here. So that's one scenario. One scenario is price ends up shooting up. You take a buy from this point, and then you can write it up to there. Vice versa, if this doesn't end up shooting up there and we end up getting a sell signal, because this can happen. This is scenario number one. You guys got to make sure to look at things from different angles. So for example, here we have a buy bias, but that's not always going to be the case. For here, if price ends up closing below here and we end up getting a sell signal right here, then our bias changes. It goes from a buy to a sell. And at that point, if price ends up closing below here, then what do you think is going to happen from that point? Instead of taking a buy and riding it from this zone to this zone, instead of that, we're going to start taking a sell, and we're going to try to ride it from here to down here, wherever the next zone is, right there, right? So that's my analysis for Euro CAD right there. Obviously, you'd have to wait for some sort of confirmation, either for price to swing above or for price to swing below. But currently, right now, we have a bullish bias. I personally wouldn't take any trades right now because it is Friday and it is NFP, so market's going to slow down a bit. I mean, it's already slowed down as it is, but it's probably going to get even slower as we get closer to market close. So I personally wouldn't enter this putty. But right now, currently, I have a bullish bias because the most recent signal was a buy signal. So I think this is going to swing up from here. But you're probably not going to see that movement up until tomorrow, not tomorrow, until Sunday, actually, when market reopens. So another way to confirm this move right here is you can pull up the indexes right here. You can pull up the Euro index, which is EXY, and then you can pair it with the Canadian index, which is CXY. And the reason why this is important here is because by using this, you can identify which currency is stronger than the other. So I'll just pull it up on the 1 hour. So looking at this right here, in order for this to move up or down, one of these has to go up and one of these has to go down, right? Because one currency has to be stronger than the other in order for it to move. The problem here is that both of these currencies are pushing up right now, right? So if they're both pushing up and they're both strong, what do you think is going to happen with Euro CAD? If that's the case, this is just going to go sideways, right? Because if you're familiar with how price moves, when price goes down, that means that the second currency is stronger than the first currency. So as you can see right here, price is going down, right? That means that the Canadian dollar is stronger than the euro. Vice versa, when price is going up, that means that the euro is stronger than the Canadian dollar. So for example, here we're looking for a buy, right? So in order for it to go up, we need the euro to be stronger than the Canadian dollar. So with that said, this needs to continue pushing up and this needs to drop. So if that happens right there, where this ends up pushing up and this ends up dropping, then you could expect this to shoot up from there. Vice versa, if this ends up pushing up and this ends up dropping, then the opposite's going to happen. Then you'll see Euro CAD come down, right? Because if that's the case, that means that the Canadian dollar is stronger than the euro. And if that becomes the case here, like I mentioned earlier, if price goes down, that means that the second currency is stronger than the first currency if it goes down this way. So just keep that in mind. I mean, there's a lot of different factors you can factor in, but this is how I analyze the charts. I'll analyze it. First, I'll draw market structure. Second, I'll identify different scenarios. And lastly, I'll look at the indexes over here to confirm how strong each currency is. So with that said, that's like the full trifecta right there to identify a trade for a perfect win. And that's why we have such a high win rate here at K2, because I checked off like everything. I make sure everything's spotless and good to go. And when it's good to go, that's when I call the trade. So that's pretty much how I analyze Euro CAD. Next up, we have a question from Gwen. Gwen's asking, she said, hi, Shawn, how do I remove K2 pivot 1 and 2 from the chart? So Gwen, in order to do that, just go to your chart, click on the K2 pivot indicator right here, click on the settings button, and from here, you can uncheck and recheck the pivots. So to take off pivot 1 and 2, here they are on the chart right here. I'm going to click on this again. You'll click on this checkbox right here. Also this one right here, click OK. And then now you only have 2 pivots on the chart. So let me scroll down further and see what else we got over here as we continue on. So we have another question from Daniel. He wants me to take a look at Bitcoin. So I'm hoping Bitcoin's pushing up because I'm holding Bitcoin long term. So let me just pull it up for you guys right here. I'll take everything off the chart real quick so we can clean this stuff up. So yeah, we got this right here. I'll pull up the Bitcoin real quick. Looks bullish to me. So zooming out from this point, I'll do the same thing I did with Euro CAD, right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify market structure. So I'll turn on the K2 pivots right here. And then I'm going to draw my market structure for you guys real quick. So we got this right here. That right there. And there we got this. So Bitcoin looks kind of messy right now. It looks like it went through like some choppiness recently. So it looks like a lot of these zones right here are kind of messy. So I'll just I'll draw some messy zones for you guys here just so that we have a picture of what's going on. So looking at Bitcoin right here, obviously Bitcoin doesn't move like Forex. It's not a smooth asset. So after drawing this market structure right here, you can see that there's a bit of some choppiness here, but you can still kind of make out what's been happening. So for example, here, price broke into the structure here, and then it shot up to here. Then from this point, it shot back down. So this is like one market structure of bullish move. Right here's another market structure for a bearish move. So bullish move, bearish move, another bullish move right here. Cut it off from there. From this point, it broke into the structure. It came down, came back up, broke below here. Or we can start from right here, actually. Actually, no. So we can break this up into a lot of places. Right here, price comes down, comes up, comes back down. It finally breaks structure on this area. So this would be the cutoff right here. And then from this point, it had a bullish move, right? So I had a bullish move from this point up here, and then now it's consolidating within this area. So once we get to this area right here, I'll just cut it off from here. This is what's important for what we're looking at. Because if you guys check this out right here, I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You guys can see that it was bullish, bearish, bearish, back to bullish. And now it's in consolidation within these two zones right here. So if we just focus on this little area right here, what you can do is you can even delete this zone right here. And you can see prices just bouncing between this area right here, right? So just bouncing up, bouncing down, bouncing up. So what we're looking for here, if you decide to, buy Bitcoin or hop into it late, what you'd be looking for is you could wait for price to swing above here and close above this area to take a buy. So if I turn on the momentum indicator right here, you guys can see that we have a bullish bias, right? We have a rejection from this point right here, and then we got a buy signal right here. So with that said, we're looking for buys. We have a bullish bias. So it's the same analysis I did for Euro CAD. Now what we're looking for is waiting for price to break and close past the structure above here. There is, it really depends on what you're looking for here. But this right here, this is what our bias would be because we have a buy signal. Vice versa, that's one scenario. So scenario number two is price rejects off this point. So I'll delete this right here. That's scenario one for a buy. Vice versa, if we have a rejection from this point and then we get a sell signal down here, then we would have waited for price to come below here to close. Then we can take a sell, right? Obviously I have a bias for Bitcoin because I just buy and hold it. I invest in Bitcoin. I don't necessarily trade it actively. So for me, I would want it to swing above here, break this structure and continue pushing up higher to new all-time highs. So I have a personal bias here and I want it to come up. So this is what I'd be looking for. But this isn't the only way to trade it. So this is one way to trade it here, guys. Another way to trade it, like if you guys want to trade it how I trade it, because I invest in Bitcoin, I don't necessarily trade it actively. If you just want to buy and hold, what you can do is you can buy the dips. So the way that I trade is I'll draw these zones here. So for example, I'll take off this market structure. What I do basically is I'll buy and I'll just stack on positions. So for example, here I have the zones drawn up. What I do is when price comes up like this, as it comes down, I buy some more Bitcoin when it dips down. So for example, it dips down to here. I buy some more Bitcoin. Price comes back up, comes back down. I buy some more Bitcoin down here. Price comes up, comes down. I buy some more Bitcoin right here, right? Price comes up, comes back down. I buy some more Bitcoin right here. Comes up, comes down right here. I buy some more Bitcoin. So these are my buy areas. I just buy the dip. So it comes up, comes down. I buy the dip at the K2SR zone, comes back up, comes back down, buy some more. And then I just average out my position. So it pushes up this way, comes back down. I do lose some money here, but it obviously comes right back up, right? Because I buy some more at this dip. So I think on my account right now, let me check. So my account right now, I only had like 500 bucks in here. I just kept buying some more. And let me see where it's sitting at. So I bought it when Elon announced his when he started backing, what was it called? When he backed Bitcoin. So I think I bought around here. It was like early February where it dipped. So I bought like 500 bucks here. And then as it continued pushing up, I just added like 100 bucks or 200 bucks here and there. Looking at my Bitcoin now, see now it's at 1,716. You guys can see that. So I'm just buying and holding. I'm not really messing with it. The only time I sell off is when there's something that happens that causes a big drop. So if there's something that causes a big drop, I'll just sell off my Bitcoin and then I'll do the same thing. It's just the same strategy over and over again, just buy the dip. Because Bitcoin's it's just gonna keep going up. I don't see Bitcoin crashing at any point, anytime soon, really. if it does crash, like if price reaches like, if it goes down here, then yeah, I'm gonna sell everything off and I'm just gonna wait for it to come back up and I'll just buy some more dips. But yeah, that's pretty much how I trade Bitcoin. If you guys want to trade it that way, that's probably the safest way to trade it. Actively trading Bitcoin is kind of hard because the spread's too wide. Like you can't really trade it like for small moves. It's like literally impossible, depending on what broker you're using. So let me check real quick. Let me check real quick if there's any other questions. So let's see. King Kong said, hello, Shawn. What software do you recommend to copy trade from Hugo's Way to TradingView? I don't have a recommendation. I don't do that. It's just from, but I'm kind of confused why you want to do from Hugo's Way to TradingView. Are you talking about the opposite? I think you might be meaning TradingView to Hugo's Way, right? You can use an API. There, you can find a coder that can set one up for you. I've used it before, but it's not really reliable. It works sometimes it doesn't. And at the amount I'm trading, because I'm trading a bigger account with FTMO, I'm not going to risk that. I'd rather just trade it manually. So sorry, King Kong, I don't have a recommendation, but I mean, if you just look online, there's coders that can do it for you, but they need to be actively updated, every day or every month, every week. So it's not something that I recommend you do, especially if you're trading money that you actually care about. Because if there's like one issue with your bot, I mean, that can be the difference between blowing your account and not blowing your account. So I wouldn't recommend using that unless you find one that's actually really reliable, which I haven't found yet. Steven's asking, are we doing scalps for BTC today? No, I don't. Like I mentioned just now, Steven, I just mentioned that spread's too wide for Bitcoin, so you can't really scalp Bitcoin like that. It's not the same as US 30 or the Forex pairs where it moves really quick. Sometimes Bitcoin will just be hanging out for like in the same spot for like a whole day, and it's going to be impossible for you to scalp it. So I don't scalp Bitcoin. You can intraday trade it, but I don't scalp it at all, and I don't recommend anyone else do unless your broker allows for really, really tight spreads. Let's see. Charlotte said different pairs have different personalities, and therefore it requires different trading strategies. You're such a G for creating indicators that understands all trading pairs and stocks. Yeah, definitely, Charlotte. Like the way that I developed these indicators were to cover all of the important things of trading, right? So like the most important thing is identifying market structure. So that's why I created the K2SR indicator right here to identify market structure. On top of that, you want to identify the direction of price. So that's why I created the momentum indicator right here. So that whenever price, whenever we get a buy signal, we're like, all right, we should be focused on some buys, vice versa. If we have some sell signals, we should focus on some sells. So that's the, the main difference between those two indicators. And then on top of that, the pivots, it's to identify the strength of momentum. So obviously, when price, if I delete everything on the chart, if price is above the pivots, and these go hand in hand. So if price is above the pivots, that's indicating an uptrend, right? With that said, if you have a buy signal, you can just take every buy basically, buy right there. We're just trading momentum. If we see momentum going up, we hop on that momentum and we make money off it, right? Full TP again right here. Like I try to simplify trading as much as possible so that you guys can make money easily, because trading shouldn't be that difficult, right? I see a lot of people making trading a lot more difficult than it really is. They use like 100 indicators. They use like the RSI, the MACD, stochastics, Bollinger Bands. Like that stuff's just confusion for you. You know that all those indicators are meant for like retail traders so that the institutions can trade against you, right? That's why I created my own indicators, because I don't want to trade like everyone else. Majority of people fail at trading, and that's why we're so successful here at K2, because we trade differently. We don't trade the same as everyone else. So you tie these indicators with price action if you're familiar with price action, and you pretty much have an unstoppable system there. That's how David trades. He doesn't use the K2 indicators, but he trades price action. But if his strategy lines up with mine, it's almost a guaranteed win. So that's why me and David work with each other a lot, because when he sees something and I see something, it's almost a guaranteed hit. So that's why we always copy each other's trades, or we take trades in the same direction. Dang, Steven, you really want to trade today, huh, Steven? Steven's like looking for any single thing to trade. Steven said, since US 30 is closed, are there other indices we will be scaling today? I think you meant scalping. No, Steven. I already mentioned at the beginning of the session, I'm not trading at all today. It's NFP, and it is Friday. So I don't think you should trade either, Steven, because I already know that you're probably going to forget to close your trade. And then when the market closes, you're going to lose your FTMO account. So I'm sure that you probably aren't aware of that requirement too, right, Steven? You can't trade over the weekend, especially once you're funded. So I think you should just chill today and not be so impatient with like taking trades. Because I know you blew up my DMs yesterday too, asking me like a million questions if we're trading US 30. But I always tell you guys, it's been the same thing every Friday, every week. I don't trade on Fridays. So my recommendation to you is not to trade on Friday. Not that you should um, go on smaller lot size. You should just not trade on Fridays. Because here's the problem, Steve. If you try to trade any of these indices, and I already know that you're probably going to forget that the market closes early today because it's it's a holiday. So for example, if you trade any other indice, well, it wouldn't matter because all the indices are closed anyways. If you were to trade any of these indices here and it was open and it hit to like, let's see, the market closes, well, FTMO closes at 1:30 our time. So here's the thing. I already know that you're going to forget to close your trade because you've been trading with me for a while, so I know how you trade. So for example, here, if you were to forget your trade right here and you just forget to close it once it hits a market swap, like say price reaches this area right here, right? And you forget to close your trade, guess what's going to happen? You lost your FTMO account. So this is why I don't recommend you trade on Friday. And I especially don't recommend you trade because, I know that you're not familiar with all these rules yet. So my best advice to you is just don't trade on Fridays and don't overtrade because you like to take a lot of trades. Like you like to trade every single trade, and by doing that, it's you end up losing more trades than not losing. So the main key here is risk management and eliminating your losses. Because if you can do that, you can be successful at anything. You don't have to trade every single minute. You don't have to trade every single second. I know this is exciting for you and you want to take every single trade that you can think of because you're winning now, right? You're winning. So this makes it really exciting for you. You want to take every single trade. But what I recommend is, sit on your hands sometimes and don't take every single trade because if you would just avoid the losses, you could keep compounding your account faster that way. Let's see, Marcus said, I have a pending trade, but I didn't know the market was closing early. So would that affect my FTMO? Marcus, if you're still in the challenge phase, you should be fine. But once you're funded, you can't hold trades over the weekend at all. So I think you should be all right if you're still in your challenge phase. But if once you're funded, don't even bother trading on Friday because if you forget to, if something like this happens in the future, then FTMO is just going to take your account because they're not going to see you as a responsible trader. They're going to think that you're too risky and that if you keep doing that, you're probably going to blow their account. So I think you're fine right now, Marcus, but once you're funded, don't trade on Fridays at all anymore. It's just not worth the risk, especially once you have a funded account that you actually care about. So I think that's it for now, guys. Do you guys have any other questions? Let's see, Cheryl said, when we overtrade, that's when the market starts to take advantage of us. Yeah, definitely, Cheryl. And that's why you guys see me, like, I don't call like 100 signals a week, right? I call like maybe 3 or 5 signals a week, and they're all good signals. And that's why we have such a high win rate. So if you guys look at our results here for K2, I don't take too many trades. Like for last week, let's see, last week for Forex, we only took 3 trades last week. So we took 3 trades, but they were all wins for a total of 125 pips. Same with our indices last week. We took 12 trades, but 9 of them were wins and 3 of them were losses. So as you guys can see, it's more about consistency and accuracy here. I don't trade because I want to give out random signals. I trade because I want you guys to win. So other than that, I think that's it for now. Unless you guys have any other questions, I can answer them for you. But if not, we're probably gonna be calling the session off a little early because there's not really much for us to do. The market's completely closed for indices, so there's no scalps available. The Forex market is pretty much dead, so there's nothing for us to look at here. So if you guys have something that you guys want me to look at, then I can take a look for you guys. But other than that, if you guys can see here, all the Forex pairs they're not even moving at all. They're kind of just flat at this point because it is Friday and it is a holiday. So everyone's already taking the day off and there's not really much for us to look at. So I'll stay on here for a few more seconds. If you guys have questions, pop them up in the YouTube chat. Otherwise, we'll be calling it a week. And then I'll be back here on Sunday for the weekly chart analysis where we can hop back into some new trades. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Marcus said, I remember that part. I was just talking about the pending one, LOL. I would just close it, Marcus. Can you close it or do you still have it open? Because the problem is if you keep it open and price spikes like, towards the end, the market opens for like a split second, it might fill your order and you'll be caught in that trade over the weekend. So I would just cancel a pending order if you can, but you probably can't because I think the market's probably closed unless it's a Forex pair. But yeah, guys, so I think that's it for today. Hopefully you guys pulled some value out of this session. Just a reminder, I go live every day at 6:30 a.m. During the week. And if you guys want to learn this strategy, just go on the website, k2trades.com. Click on K2 strategy course right here to get access to the indicators. Or if you want access to the real-time trades, just go to K2 premium signals over here. Otherwise, if you guys don't want to pay for anything, you guys just want to learn for free, just click unlock your free access right here. And then you guys will have access to all the free material that we have here at K2. But other than that, I think that's it for the day. Let me just scroll through these real quick, see if there's anything else for us to possibly look at here. Yeah, this Euro USD trade that I was looking at yesterday, if you guys took it, full TP. Other than that, I don't really see anything else. We don't have any more active trades. So for the rest of the day, I'll be in the Telegram. So if you guys have questions, you guys can reach out to me there. Otherwise, I think that's going to be it for this session. So if you guys can do us a favor on your way out, go ahead and like this stream. And then we can continue to grow this channel so that we can find more people that need help with trading, where I can answer more questions. So I think that's about it, guys. Thanks for showing up. And then I'll see you guys this Friday. So have a great weekend, guys. Be safe. And then